Hello there, another video tutorial for you. This one is going to be a card fold, and I want to show you, it's like a little easel card. It's this guy right here. This is the card we're going to do. It's a Christmas card. Use the Peaceful Pines. This is one of the Stamp Club cards. I'm going to show you how to cut it to make this particular fold. So we're going to take half of an 8.5 by 11, so a standard card sheet. So you're still going to get 2 out of a piece of cardstock. And I'm going to do everything on my cutter because I have a score blade and a cut blade. If you have one that just has the cut blade, you can also use one of the score boards as well. So we're going to take the short side of our cardstock here and we're going to line it up at the 1-inch mark. We're going to put our cut blade, there's measurements all along here, we're going to put our cut blade at the 1-inch mark as well. Press that down and we're going to cut to 5 1/4. 5 1/4. You're going to lift that up. We're going to move this over to 4 1/2. We're going to put this back down again. My blade has stayed at the 5 1/4 mark, so I'm just going to leave it there. And I'm going to take it up to the 1 mark. So we've got 2 cuts. So you started at 1 inch, you went from 1 inch to 5 1/4, move it over to 4 1/2, and then you go from 1 inch to 5 1/4 again. Now I'm going to turn it, and when I turn my cardstock, I'm going to start scoring with my cuts on this particular side. So you can see my 2 cuts here. We've got less space here than we do on this particular side. This is going to be the back of your card. So we want, when you turn it, I've got my cuts here, I'm just rotating counterclockwise so that I'm on the long side. I'm going to line up again. I'm going to move my cut blade out of the way. How many times have I cut when I needed to score? I'm going to line up at the 1-inch mark again, and I'm going to score, but I'm only going to score on the top part and the bottom part. I'm not scoring in the middle. So at the 1-inch mark, I'm going to score at the top and then come down and score at the bottom. I'm going to do that at 2 inches as well. So I'm going to score the bottom, move this up, and score the top. Then I'm going to move to 5 1/4, which puts us at the end of our cut line. So I'm going to score that again, move down, score the bottom part. So all of my cuts have been above and below our cut, or all of our scores, sorry, have been above and below the cut lines. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to the center of my card. So in this standard measurement, to get the center of a card, we're going to go to 4 1/4. And we're scoring again. This time we're going to score in between the cut lines. So I'm going to move this into the middle. There we go. And then we've got our base. So I'm going to get this out of the way. Let's see all of our score lines. This is our big piece for our back. So what I'm going to do first on this little tiny piece right here is I'm going to fold these score lines down. These next ones I'm going to score and fold back, and that makes like a little lip on the edge. And then I'm going to score these guys back here. Fold, I should say, not score. And then we're going to go into that center piece and fold that. And that will fold down to a standard card size, standard envelope size. But you've got a funky, fresh card fold like this. How cool is that? Then I'm going to use some DSP to decorate, and this is the Very Merry, the DSP paper stack that we have in the Occasions catalog right now. And these little pieces of DSP are 3/4 by 3 inches. And they are going to fit perfectly right here on your side. How cool is that? So 3/4 by 3 inches. couple of those. And then we've got a longer piece here. I can't remember this one. This one is still the 3/4, but it's 5 1/4, of course, because it's the full length of the card. By 5 1/4. And 5 1/2 is the full length, and if you're cutting something to layer, it would be 5 1/4. So it's still the 3/4 wide by 5 1/4, and that's going to go along the bottom. But I'm not going to attach that yet. I've got this little piece of white and this little piece of cranberry. I used the Mossy Meadow and the cherry cobbler, sorry, not cranberry, cherry cobbler, from the DSP paper stock, so that everything goes together and meshes. And this little white piece here is 2 3/4 by 3. And this should be 3 by 3 1/4. And it's not, so I'm just gonna trim this up. So that should layer like this. And all I did was run this through an embossing folder. I chose the stars. Then I forgot to check to see if it's current, and I can't remember if that one's still current. But this will layer right on it. So I embossed the backing here. So I'm just going to snail those and put those together. And again, those measurements are 3 by 3 1/4 for the cherry cobbler, and then 2 3/4 by 3 for the white piece. So that should give you all of your layering measurements. And then this guy, I'm just going to take this little strip and put him down here. He measures right up to my cherry cobbler. Oh, measures right up, butts right up against. So there's no space here. I left a space. That's the plastic from the top of the paper stock, that little plastic adhesive that keeps all the papers together. Okay, that's done. I left a border around the sides and the top with this measurement, but with these measurements of the cardstock, your DSP butts right up against your cherry cobbler. So that's what you've got there. And then what I went ahead and did, I'll show you the 2 cards that I have. We did these at Stamp Club. This was the first one that I had done. And this is the one that I did at Club with the ladies. And this is using the Gently Falling. And I had a good laugh because I used the Gently Falling and I put it in, it's not my embossing folder, one of our club members and one of my downline, Anne, had it. And she was nice enough to lend it to us for club. And I went and put my paper in it and I put it in sideways. So I said it was a blizzard, like the snow is like blowing sideways. But anyway, so that's the Gently Falling. And this is the stripes in the background. I did the 2 trees and the 1 tree. And I'm going to do the same as this one. I like it with the 3 trees. So I'm going to fold this all up. And then what I used were the framelits and the stamp set from Peaceful Pines. Love, love, love this. And this one's carrying over. So exciting, so exciting. So that's, okay, we've got our 2 background trees, and I'm just going to snail those guys on so that they're flat. And I'm just going to center them. Eyeball it as best I can. And then I've got this guy. I'm going to rip off his trunk. I've got this guy on dimensionals. I love the fact that the framelits cut everything out for this set. And I really enjoy the greeting on this one. And then I've got the little pot on a dimensional as well, but I ripped off the trunk on his image so that I could butt that little pot right up against the bottom of the tree. And then I'm going to take one of these little glue dots here and my star. Because I've used dimensionals, I'm going to try to attach that star right on the top of the tree. There we go. Super cool card fold. Really nice, especially at Christmas time. I like to display my Christmas cards when I get them, so I think of that when I give them as well. And it's a nice card fold that will display well for those that you're giving to. And it's just super, super cute. And I love the fact that you can get 2 of these out of 1 sheet of cardstock again. So there's very minimal waste when it comes to the cardstock. Hope you enjoyed the tutorial. Have fun. Happy stamping.